So these are my two table saws that I have in my shop. Both of them are compact job site saws. Obviously the DeWalt, and then you have the Milwaukee here. The reason why I have two saws is because, number one, both of them have kind of unique features that are unique to themselves, and then the other thing is both of them are battery operated saws, so there is no need for corded power for both of these saws. It gives me the ability to kind of move it anywhere I want in the shop. It also gives you, the benefit is the convenience. I don't have to plug into mains power. All I need to do is charge the batteries, and once the batteries are charged, I'm able to do the small jobs that I'm doing, which is just kind of, DIY hobby stuff. Both of the table saws are pretty robust. Now, just some differences in both of them. The Milwaukee has two miter slots, whereas if you look at the DeWalt, it only has one. On this side here, both of them do the typical table saw functions, beveling to 45, 0 to 45. They both have the rack and pinion style fences, so those are pretty convenient. They, may not be the greatest for fine carpentry work. They may not have the, all of the bells and the whistles of, say, like a saw stop or something like that, but they cut wood. And if you do your best to square them up and you got a decent one from the factory, you'll be able to get some decent results along with the flexibility. Now, I actually purchased this stand in the past before I bought this saw and before I put this saw on that stand, and I actually had a Milwaukee stand attached to it, and I just had it kind of zip tied on there. Obviously that's not the best way, so I ended up returning the stand, and then I just had this on an old table saw base that I have on the other side of the shop. Now, I went ahead and pulled the trigger on the DeWalt because since I am using a battery operated platform, or two rather, what I came to discover is that obviously these batteries are not cheap. These things, I think right now they're probably going for about $250. I think they used to be like $220, but with inflation they're up to like $250. Over there on the DeWalt, all I have is I think that's a 6 amp hour. Now when I bought the kit, it came with two 6 amp hour batteries. This is a 12 amp hour battery, and actually when I bought this table saw, I did not buy the kit with the batteries, so I got the batteries separately. I'll talk about that another time. But since you're running a battery operated platform, now mind you, the price on both of these are around about $600 a piece. So if you think about getting a big cabinet saw, you're just touching the waters at $1,200 of getting, probably an okay saw. Whereas I have two saws and both of them can perform separate functions for me, so that can kind of decrease my battery uses. I was already in the Milwaukee platform, and I had a few DeWalt tools which basically helped me to go ahead and make the decision to justify getting both. Now, the Milwaukee, I purchased it first, and the first time I purchased it, let me come in closer here, I actually returned it, and let me show you why. So when you take out the insert, right down here, right in this area here, the first Milwaukee saw I bought, it was broken right here. So obviously, the blade, the alignment or whatever, it's attached to here. I'm not quite sure how badly that would have turned out as far as if that would have caused any kind of alignment issues, but when you buy a brand new tool, you don't want to have to deal with that. So that was broken, and I actually sent that back. I actually have a video. I had bought a bunch of Milwaukee tools at the same time, including this, and obviously this went back to the store. Now, what I would say, obviously, and as a matter of fact, I bought two of them. I bought one, I had it shipped to the house, it was broken. I took it back to the store and I got a second one, I believe, from one of the Home Depots, and when I brought it home, it was broken in the exact same location. And so I took it back, and then I waited quite a while before I ended up pulling the trigger on this saw again, and I finally got one that was not broken at that area. So I don't know if that was a quality control issue or whatever, but since I've purchased it and I've been using it, I haven't had any problems. Just basic features. You got your on and off, and actually, you know what, I'm not going to go that deep into it right now. simply because I'm just giving an overview over both the saws and why I have them, and then I'll probably come back and do a more in-depth review of each one of them separately, so the video is not incredibly too long. So coming over here to the DeWalt. So the reason why I actually purchased the DeWalt is because I was in the market overall for a fully battery operated, or as much as possible battery operated shop. So I don't have a whole lot of outlets in this garage, and you know, sometimes if I plug the shop vac in, you know, it can have the lights flicker, and if I plug it into the wrong outlet, because it's only like, seems to be only 2 breakers in the garage. So rather than upgrade or try to upgrade an electrical system or something like that, I just went ahead and decided to go all battery powered. I have tons of Ryobi tools, and I'll be going over some of those in a future video, but I was going down the Ryobi line, even though I owned my Milwaukee set from 10 years ago, because it was less expensive. And one of the reasons, well, a couple of the reasons why I decided on these 2 brands and these 2 manufacturers is simply because they offered the 12-volt miter saws, battery operated, and also the 12-volt table saws, battery operated. Makita Rigid, well, who else is out there? Obviously Ryobi, and none of the other brands that I know of offer a battery operated table saw. Now these are only 8.5-inch saw blades, they're not 10 inches, but for the work that I'm doing, they do perfectly fine. Coming back around the DeWalt, the reason why I actually purchased the DeWalt was because when I was looking for a battery operated miter saw, I was compelled by the fact that the miter saw actually has the feature to be able to be plugged into mains power or run off of 2 12-volt batteries. As a result of that flexibility, it put me in a position where I was like, okay, I'm gonna get that compound miter saw. But when I went to look at the DeWalt saw, it does not have the ability to accept dados. So I saw that as a limitation because I wanted to do some cabinet making, and that's a particular type of joinery that I wanted to learn, was using the dado stack to make grooves for assembling boxes and such, and bookshelves or whatever. So I was apprehensive about this saw, and that's why I purchased the Milwaukee first, because it had that flexibility. And I actually did not get those 12-volt batteries because of obviously this tool. It was because of the cutoff saw, which I have. It's still brand new. I haven't, it's open, but I've not used it because it's not a tool that I would be using on an everyday basis. But I purchased it because it was, I think it's normally $899, but I ended up purchasing it for $599 on sale, and it came with 2 12 amp hour batteries, so that kind of covered me for the fuel. I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but you know, just kind of stick with me. So as I said, the DeWalt was purchased because of the miter saw having the dual functionality. I remember seeing reports that they was actually going to come up with a solution to make this be able to be mains powered as well, but apparently there was going to be an adapter, but apparently they couldn't figure that out. So it's just strictly battery power, which would have been awesome. And honestly, if the DeWalt had that functionality and had the ability to run dado stack, then I would just own the DeWalt. So in order to kind of get the best of both worlds, and you still come in at the price of like a low-end cabinet saw, and you have more flexibility, because if I wanted to, you know, if I didn't have this big stand here, I could just hang one of these up on the wall if I wanted to get it up and out of the way. So just so much more flexibility, because in this garage shop, I not only work on woodworking projects, but I also, you know, work on my cars. So I have to be able to move everything out of the way, pull the car in the garage, and do whatever maintenance that needs to be done on those. So, back to the Milwaukee saw. So on the Milwaukee, how I came about that is I actually bought the Milwaukee in a bundle deal. So I already own the DeWalt 12-inch miter saw, but when I bought the Milwaukee, when I settled in on the Milwaukee, I went ahead and bought the Milwaukee saw with the 12-inch miter saw. It was like a package deal or something for like, I think it was like $999 or something like that. So that's how I came about having both of those tools. So it's a little bit over the top, but it's convenient. Now I'm kind of into matching, you know, I like my tools to be in the same brand whenever it's possible. However, like if you look at the Milwaukee brand, they don't make a track saw. If you look at DeWalt, they don't make the extensive range of mechanic equipment with like the ratchets and the impacts to be able to work on cars. So that's how I'm in both of these brands. And then, you know, obviously when you start to progress down this pipeline of wanting to improve on your woodworking, that's how you end up going back and kind of getting involved in things like Festool. But so yeah, I think I kind of touched on why I have the two table saws. Using both, this is going to be like my main saw for inside the shop. But then sometimes, you know, like maybe you're doing a 45-degree cut and a straight cut, or a dado cut and a regular cut. Now I have two different stations, which is a luxury. You know, it's blessed to have it, but it's going to be a luxury that I'm going to utilize. I think that's everything for this video, guys. Thanks for taking time to watch the video, and I appreciate it. You guys take care and stay safe.